This is a Rogue Media Network podcast.
Welcome to the Front Porch. Real conversations about life, leadership, and perseverance. Each week, Dennis Polian and Jay Davis bring you inspiring stories and lessons to help you grow, lead, and thrive. Pull up a chair. The conversation starts now.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Front Porch. Dennis Polian and Jay Davis with you again, and we are super excited for our guest today. It's been a while since we had a guest because she's canceled like 6 times. But
4, I think.
We have
under the bus without even saying
yes.
a word.
We have a woman of many hats, Lydia Tate, who right now is president and CEO of KWBU, which is our local NPR here in Central Texas. Her background is awesome. You will learn a lot from her. We're so excited to have you, Lydia. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Jay. Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
No, we're so glad
This is
you're
so
here.
fun.
We're going to let Jay kick it off because he did a lot of homework on you.
Like I said, under the bus before we even start.
This is how he ambushes me.
Cool. Respect, Dennis.
Yeah. So he usually takes the open, and then, it goes to you, then it goes to me, but now it comes to me. So, tell us how you ended up in a nice, lovely leather couch, not a rocking chair, on the front porch. How did you get here?
Well, apparently after 6 cancellations.
I thought it was only 3, but anyway.
Well, one was mine. One was
all legit.
his.
All legit.
All legit reasons. Well, so Dennis and I met each other through a coaching firm that I used to work for, Action Coach here in Central Texas, and we had done a few workshops together and got to know each other, and we met over some networking meetings and things of that nature, and just got to be pals and chat about business and all sorts of wonderful things. And it's been great getting to know him. And when I took this job, he said, "Hey, would you like to be on my podcast?" And I said, "You have a podcast?" And he said, "Why, yes, I do." And so here we are. And I really wish there was rocking chairs. That'd be really cool.
Did he really say my podcast, or did he say our podcast?
Oh, I said mine.
I'm having pronoun trouble right now. Can I get back to you?
My, me, I.
So
I thought you were going to say that too in a second.
Well, I'm going to continue with a follow-up because
Okay.
he ambushed me a little bit. So coaching is a very, it's kind of near and dear to our heart. I mean, with Dennis's background, my background prior to what we're doing now, how did you get there, so to speak?
Yeah, that was also just one of those, wonderful things that I got to do. So I met the Action Coach team at one of their events. I was invited to by, at the time, Michael Wyatt worked there, and he had invited me to come to one of their Growth Club events, which is their all-day planning workshop. And me being the giant nerd that I am, I really enjoy organizational leadership, planning, strategic planning, things of that nature, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was great, and set up an appointment with them and became a coaching client during my role as an executive director at Christian Women's Job Corps a few years back. Worked with Reagan as a coaching client for quite some time. Really enjoyed the experience and the relationship. And over the course of many, many months during that period of time, I was discerning whether or not it was time for me to leave Christian Women's Job Corps, and decided it was time for me to step away and time for me to pursue other things. And had a conversation with Reagan. He was like, "Well, what are you going to do?" And I was like, "I don't know. I guess I'm going to look for another job." And then we had another conversation, and I said, "I kind of love to explore what you do." And so we did. And I became the nonprofit strategist for the firm. I worked with the nonprofits that he was working with as coaching clients, and really enjoyed the time there. I learned so much, getting to work with all those industries and getting to work with so many different people, whether it was insurance or nonprofit or food-related industry or construction. Really just got to learn so many different things, and and he's a master of his craft. And so learning from him was really great. And so I spent about a year with them and then really decided that it was time for me it just wasn't a great fit for me in terms of my personal needs. And so decided to step away from there. And now I'm on a couch with you guys. But coaching is fantastic. I mean, it's just this wonderful thing that walking alongside of someone in their business and helping them kind of see the forest for the trees. God, I mean, what an experience to be able to do that and to be able to walk alongside someone in that way and really help them set up some guardrails for themselves to see them do better. Yeah. And you guys know that coaching is just awesome.
Yeah, it is. Now you're taking over KWBU at a time, right, where funding is a monthly question now, and fundraising's always been at the fore, but also just quality programming content is also a priority. When you're stepping into that challenge, do you see yourself coaching your team differently because of that experience, essentially as a professional coach?
Yes and no. I think let's address the funding challenges first. Wow, they went through the ringer last year. 2025 was really just an enormous challenge for the public media sector and public radio specifically. And really for KWBU in particular, Waco Public Radio, we went through some additional funding challenges as well. Not only did we lose federal funding, but we also lost some cash funding from Baylor. And that's not to say Baylor is an enormous supporter of KWBU, tremendous things that they do for us. But with those funding challenges in 2025, of course, I came in January 4th, 2026, and they've made incredible strides at this point through 2025, looking at, really developing their membership base and working hard at their fundraising. And they've been working like crazy for months and months and months, just trying to make ends meet and wondering month to month whether or not they were going to be around. And really, I got there, and what I saw is a staff that needed a break, that needed a rest. Yeah. And I encouraged them to do so as much as I possibly could, as much as we could withstand it. Go take a break. This person has your back. You can let this drop for a few minutes, and you can go rest. And how can we regroup for the future? Because yes, you had to work really hard on this one strategy for a really long time, and you didn't know month to month what was going to happen. But now we can really regroup and take a new approach. And that's what we did. We changed the play, to borrow some of y'all's phraseology there. We really did. We started running a new play, and it wasn't that we were going to wonder whether or not we were going to exist month to month. No, now we are looking at a future that is bright and that we are going to thrive. Really, those funding needs, they're going to still exist for us forever. The federal funding is not going to come back, and we can't rely on it to come back. And we have to be creative about the ways that we're approaching the community. Waco is an amazing, incredible, generous community, and we have to be strategic about what we're asking of this community. We're small. We're a small community, and we have over 1,000 nonprofits in this really tiny community, which means that we are stretching every nonprofit dollar to the max. And so we have to be creative about the way we're approaching things and really change up our strategy and think outside of what we've normally thought about. I'm excited. I think that, I can kind of set up some guardrails and help us kind of guide that space, but the team is really amazing. They have some great systems in place. They have so much wonderful experience in the public radio sector that really I can come in and I can encourage them and empower them to do their job and just make sure that they're taking breaks and that they have the team that they need around them to be able to really excel. So I'm fortunate. I really get to come in at a really bright time.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Life moves fast, but the unexpected doesn't care about your calendar. At the Polian Agency, we help successful families protect what they've worked so hard to build. From life insurance to smart coverage strategies, we tailor protection that grows with you, so you're prepared for whatever's next. The Polian Agency, where protection meets purpose. Visit PolianAgency.com or call 254-772-1444 to start the conversation.
So I guess from coaching nonprofits, which kudos to you, takes a big heart for what you did before and what you're doing now. It's a very selfless responsibility.
Thank you.
But nonprofits are more about service, and with what you're doing now is more about content and products. So was there kind of a very important ingredient, characteristic, attribute that you needed to pivot from, coming from nonprofit to what you're doing now? I mean, obviously the funding is the elephant in the room, right? And coming in at that time, right? That's kind of when you came in, right?
Yeah.
And it's very interesting that you say rest, because on our last podcast, 2 podcasts ago, and I've never really thought about this because, and not about us, but everything that we've always done is you try to push as hard as you can all the time, all the time. And that's a very fresh perspective, and it's a very interesting perspective that you came in and said, these people have been grinding and grinding and grinding with no real reward. In fact, they were going backwards, really, when you lost the federal funding. So to come in and say, y'all need to rest, when really, if we came in, we'd say, we got to put the pedal to the metal, and we got to get better, and we got to get stronger, and we got to push harder. So that's a really interesting initiative. It's a really interesting perspective. So from your previous experience, how'd you come up with that?
Well,
I think there was a question in there, right?
I'm not sure.
I enjoyed the narrative.
Thank you.
So the notion nonprofit serving the community is huge, and that's an important piece of what I've done for 20 years. And I don't really consider myself a coach in this role. I consider myself a nonprofit director in this role, and that pivot of, how do you come into an organization and not just put the pedal to the metal? Mm-hmm. I think that's part of the coaching experience, is being able to read what is going on in the business and what is really needed in the business. And everybody needed a breath. Now, I came in January 4th, and we had our next pledge drive on February, 14th-ish, that kind of week, the weeks of February 14th. So we still kind of put the pedal down. Mm-hmm. And believe me, that when we took that meeting and we said that we were going to have a pledge drive, my first week we had a meeting. It's like, we're going to have a pledge drive in February. Everybody, can't believe. Okay, but I want you to go and rest until we can, and I want you to take a breath, take a beat. You've got banked time off, go take it. Because I need you fresh. I need you ready for the next message and the next rally in February. And we did. And it was a great pledge drive, and it had a great amount of energy behind it. But so much of what we do is serving the community. It is being a beacon of what's happening in the community all the time, whether we are interviewing government bodies, whether we are we're delivering news, we are talking about events that are upcoming in Waco. There's so much there that serves the community in a deep and meaningful way. And when you're serving the community all the time, and you're looking for ways that you can sustain yourself all the time, I'm a big believer in, you got to take a beat, and you gotta just heal yourself just a little bit in order for you to continue to serve. I know self-care is, one of those topics that, I don't know, those of us that grew up in the 90s and in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, like go, 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 push, push, push. We don't ever let up. But I think that one of the valuable things that our millennials are teaching us is that self-care is critical, and that we need to be able to step back and take account of what we do and how we do it, and allow our bodies to rest a little bit before we get it back out there.
I've got a fun fact.
Okay, fun facts. Here we go.
Dennis loves millennials.
I got a lot of problems with you people.
There you go, right back at you.
Well, it's
Well, the only reason I threw
ironic.
90s out there is because we were talking about
I love-
WKRP
well,
in
I love-
Cincinnati earlier.
I love the point because it's true. From my experience in football, it was go, 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 except for the players. We always encourage the players to recover,
I mean, I was going to ask.
rest. That you built your practice schedules around the schedule, time of year, health, how the team was, where they were physically, where they were emotionally in a demanding environment. But we never really talked about that on the staff side. And growing up in the 80s and 90s, right, we never used the term self-care. It's like the term, to me, it's like the term vulnerability. It's
Right.
it's a higher education marketing term for enrollment.
Don't get him started on this.
But what it is, and it's like analytics in sports. Like analytics has been around for 1,000 years. It's statistics.
Yeah.
It's just a different word. Self-care, when we were growing up, it was summer vacation.
Summer vacations.
It was your trip
Absolutely.
to the beach,
Yeah.
for a week. We were doing it. We just weren't allowed to talk about it. Now I feel like the pendulum has swung so far. It's like we want to rest more than we want to work. And that's where I have a problem with millennials. I'm not
We have
afraid
to be
say
careful
it.
about swinging too hard the other direction. And I think that is where staff accountability comes in, just
Yep.
huge and everything. And definitely don't hear me wrong when, I mean, you got to rest so that you can play, right? And you have to rest so that you can continue playing the game. And I think too, while we took our summer vacations, I don't know about you guys, but people were taking their work with them a little too much during those summer vacations way
no
back
doubt.
then. But you read the room, you figure out what the team needs, and then we step forward. Yeah.
Oh, there's no question about that. Now let's pivot a little bit to some of your more focused nonprofit stuff earlier in your career. I'm really impressed and fascinated with your focus on women and building environments where they can excel professionally, but also spiritually. And I don't have a specific question. I just want to hear your perspective on what that experience was like and what you think based on that. Also, as a person who's lived that and continues to live it, where do you think that is today in terms of what professional women who want to have a family and should be celebrated for that if that's what they want, who want to live a life of faith and should be celebrated if that's what they want, and want to excel in their career? Because as a guy, right, if I say I want to go, I'm celebrated if I say I want to arrange my day so I can go to my son's soccer practice.
Right.
But some of my friends that are women in sports feel pressure, and I don't know if you've experienced that. They feel pressure where they can't do that. They have to make more sacrifices to kind of overcompensate from what they've told me, what they think is a perception that they're not committed.
Absolutely. This is a space that's near and dear to my heart. My time at the Christian Women's Job Corps will always be a highlight to me over 20 years of nonprofit. It's just an incredible place where women are coming together to learn together, to grow together, and to see each other be successful and to celebrate each other. And that's the part for me that really is so hard, is that women and women and men, we compete with each other. Men compete with men, women compete with women, and we don't celebrate each other. And I think that what makes that particular organization so special is that they're coming together just to celebrate each other and to make sure that each other achieves that goal that they're looking for. We had women who would finish the program. So CWJC in McLennan County specifically, we were concentrating on GED education and then job acquisition education. And women would come into that GED learning program and stay for hours and study together and work together. And then somebody would finish their 4 tests and achieve their GED. And they would come back to class the next week after finishing and go and sit in class with their friends and make sure their friends still came to class and didn't stop coming just because they were done. They wanted to make sure their friends continued on. And if that doesn't hit you right in your soul, I don't know what will, because that to me, when women, and these are mostly single mothers, mind you, I mean 91% single mothers in this program, when they've been taught to be on their own, to survive on their own, to do it all on their own. Childcare is hard, everything is hard. Finding a job and holding down that job because they do have to go pick up their kid from school, or they have to go and a kid is sick and they have to take off work and now they lost their job. It is 24/7 hard. And for them to be able to set aside that time and go to class and care for one another and celebrate each other after so much hardship, it's so incredible. And then the women who, I mean, it was all women that were working at CWJC at the time, save quite a few male volunteers, I have to say, and one male intern that just absolutely rocked the Casbah. But yeah, it just, the women there
like that.
Y'all can volunteer. But the women who were working there, I mean, when I came in, one of them had been working there for quite some time, and she really wanted to pursue her master's degree and finish her social work license and move out of CWJC and move on to other things. And the first thing we did was make a plan of when is this going to happen and how are you going to get this done? Because that's what she wanted to do. And if we're going to be an organization about education, then we have to want even our people to move forward and to step forward into their dreams and their goals. If we're about women's dreams and goals and our staff aren't pursuing those things, then how can we even tout that to the people that we serve? And I think that was one of the ways that, you know, I want to be able to see women achieve those goals and to make those things happen. And part of that is that passion from serving so many women at CWJC for a while. So yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What about it made you feel like you needed to step away from that?
There's a few different things. Some personal health things that I needed to address. And just the need to, I felt like I needed to, I honestly, I'll be very honest with you. I felt like God was calling me away and that it was time for me to step back. And that it was time for someone else to take the helm. I think when you're in leadership for a long time, and especially nonprofit leadership, you can kind of sense when you're shifting, when you are shifting you personally, and you don't quite have the fire and the finesse for something that you needed to have. And I think you guys probably have experienced this as coaches, where you just go, it's time for me to step away. And I need to go exercise my skills in another place so that fire comes back, right? Mm-hmm. And I just became aware that it was time for me to step away. I couldn't explain it. It was hard for me to understand. And as I processed through that, there were a lot of different factors that were pulling me that direction. So, yeah.
It's a difficult thing because, when you lose that edge a little bit, I call it the edge. When you lose that edge, whatever it is, the conviction, your your purpose.
Becomes soft. I never saw you with an edge.
I was really going to give a heartfelt,
I was waiting for
sincere,
it.
and he tried to distract me because I was going to become vulnerable here, which he doesn't like. But no, I think when you,
I love honesty.
yeah, no, my sports background. I mean, all I wanted to do every day when I knew that I could do it was to make the PGA Tour, play golf for a living. I got real close. And so to your point, I grew up with 12 years of Catholic education. I had a Dominican nun as an aunt. I had an uncle that was a priest. So to say that God's calling, whatever it is, maybe I wasn't mature enough to realize that. But when you lose an edge, you lose that conviction, you lose that passion for it. And you just kind of know that it's time because you love what you did. You love the people that you were helping.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Still do.
And you knew that, not that you didn't care about them, you didn't love them anymore. You didn't love the opportunity to help people.
Absolutely.
But you just knew that, you know what, I'm not on that edge to give what I can when somebody else can come in and behind me and you find another avenue that, reignites you, that maybe, changes your focus, maybe gives you not more purpose, but a new purpose, right?
A shift.
Yeah. And so that's pretty cool. So
and I think too, for me on the nonprofit side, you want to get ahead of that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to wait until you're burned out.
Right.
You don't want to wait until the organization is hurting. And the organization was in a very good, strong place. And we had great staff, great systems, great programs. Everything was just absolutely wonderful. It was the right moment for me to go, okay, it's time, right? And I want to get ahead of it. I don't want to wait until things are rough. You want to go when you want to step away as an executive director when it's in the strongest place possible. And that was the moment that I knew I had to take.
It's hard to do though, too.
It's very
right?
hard.
Because
one of the hardest things I've ever had to do.
I don't care how religious, spiritual, how important, God is in your life. Is we all have a little bit of selfishness and a little bit of ego, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And to step off, so to speak, to know that, it's time for me to hand the baton off. And
very challenging.
One of the hardest decisions I've ever made. You want to ride it all the way to the end, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I speak for myself.
Yeah. And I mean, and especially when an organization is growing and thriving, you want to just keep on plugging away at it. Why would you leave?
People don't understand that.
Yeah. That is the impressive thing. What you guys are both talking about is something that I've noticed my entire career, even as I've shifted into a new industry, is, what you're talking about is an unbelievable level of self-awareness and humility. In a position where a lot of people I've experienced don't have, when they're an executive director of an organization or in a position of leadership, they really don't have much self-awareness and humility. And, you can be humble and confident, and there are good versions of ego, right? And that's what we're talking about. And if you don't have that, you're not going to step away at the right time for the organization or you. If you don't have that, you're not going to be able to pivot when you're going through adversity, personally or in your organization. And I don't know, maybe it's because we all have coaching in our background that we're more attuned to that. But I've been around a lot of football coaches who have no self-awareness and no humility and are just going to ride it out as long as they can, no matter how it impacts anybody around them. And I've seen a lot of business leaders in the last couple of years do that as well. And I'm complimenting you, Lydia, directly.
Thank you.
I don't want Jay to feel like it's a compliment, but
but I'm complimenting you too, because as a true leader, you know when it's time to step out.
I appreciate
You
that.
know, and the
Yeah.
amount of
Yeah.
courage it takes to do that.
It takes a
Too,
lot of
right?
courage.
You have
Yeah.
3 sons. And some are in college, like are 2 out of 3 in college now?
2 are in college and
One's on his way.
Yeah, he graduates in 4 weeks.
Right. So you're also going through that transition when
Yeah.
life at home is that part of life where just there's 20 balls in the air at one time.
Yeah, well, and this was when I left CWJC. This was 2 years ago. So, I mean, that's at the end of 2024 was my last day. And the balls were much higher in the air.
Yeah, and that takes a lot. But I think where you are now is the perfect example of why, we all know, we know when it's the right time to make a change. We know when whether it's to leave a place or change how you're leading or
Right.
the tools you're using, whatever, or how you're going to coach or hold your team accountable. We all know when that happens. It's having the courage to look at yourself in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm doing everybody a disservice if I don't
Yep.
do this. And, so you're a great example of where you are now doesn't happen if you probably played that out too long, right?
Yeah, well, I think too, we get in this danger zone as leaders where we fall into we've always done it this way.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I'm used to this, how this goes. And I've been here for this long and we've always XYZ. And it stifles innovation. It stifles your ability to reach new clients and reach new consumers. And it also stifles your staff. I mean, you just get into a rut and everybody gets in the rut with you. And then what happens? You don't grow. You don't do the things that you really need to do. And then you get in this danger zone of the business is just going to circle the drain eventually, or the nonprofit's going to wind down and it's not going to serve as many people. It's not going to do what it could possibly do. I don't want to be that kind of leader. I don't want to be the person that just sits back and goes, well, I've always done it this way. No big deal. Put my feet up and not worry about it. I don't know. I got too many things. I would much rather know that I'm doing the thing I should be doing. I think that so many of us business owners, leaders, no matter who we are, we can just really, we're not careful. We'll get into that danger zone and we'll just stifle ourselves.
Yep. All right, let's pivot. I'm going to put you on the spot. For the radio, do you have a favorite program?
Oh my goodness, why does everybody ask me that? It's like picking your favorite child.
I know we all have a favorite child.
My favorite child. Oh golly. Man. Before I became the director, I would have said things like, oh, Morning Edition, or, oh, wait, don't tell me. And, maybe a few other shows that, nobody knows about. But now I'm like, well, what about this? And what about this? And what about this? And just so many wonderful different things that we're doing. It's just hard. But I mean, Milk Street Radio is fabulous. Splendid Table is wonderful. Shout, we have a 3-minute segment called Shout Black Gospel Moments, and it is produced by where it's hosted by Bob Darden, and it covers the Black Gospel archives at Baylor University, and it is one of the most delightful 3 minutes you'll spend just listening to how he dissects this music and what he talks about. It's just incredible. Broadway and the Brazzes, our local shows are incredible. I mean, they're amazing. Our team does a really great job of producing these incredible shows. Broadway on the Brazzes with Beth Richards. We really need to change the name so I can say it in a microphone. But Broadway and the Brazzes, it's just packed full of information. I mean, it's like research paper on Broadway every Friday, and she works so hard at that show. Conversations with Creative Waco. I mean, just an amalgamation of everything you want to know that's going on in Waco that has anything to do with the art community. The Friday Forum, all the news. I mean, it just, golly gee. The community-based shows, I didn't realize they were my favorite until I started working there.
That's neat. And you don't have to live here to listen to those, right? You can stream all of that.
You can stream it all on the website or on the app. I really love our app. It's just so easy. You just ding, 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 ding. And I can listen to back archives of everything. I went through a little stint where I listened to all the archives of David and Art and Shout and everything. It's fantastic. And Sit Down with Rachel. I mean, all of those, Downtown Depot, all of our local shows are just really, really amazing. Really well done by our local hosts and then produced in-house at the station.
That's neat.
I'm not tooting my own horn here. I really meant it.
Do you have room for a leadership and
do I? Okay.
Coaching.
See how it is.
Yeah, he's got time. I don't. But yeah. No, I'm not.
He would pay to do it.
Yeah.
There you go. Now we like that.
Yeah. We got to have more than 3 minutes. Yeah. But he's your guy. If you need 3 minutes, he's got a clock. He's got a beeper, timer, alarm. It'll all go off, and we'll edit it when it goes off. I'm sure at 40 minutes or whatever he's at. But anyway, to
we're gonna do a leadership show. I'm your girl. Let's go.
To follow up on that, and again, this is going to be a kind of a difficult question, but since you've been there, or even I'm sure you probably listened before you took the role there, is there one story, one local story, one cool thing? And it could be a story, it could be something that with your staff. Is there something that really you kind of sit back and you say, hey, this is why we do it?
Gosh, that's tough too.
It's hard hitting questions on the front porch.
Well,
we're not just a couple pretty faces here, you know.
Yeah, it's not just celebrity. It's not Celebrity Jeopardy on SNL.
Man, I think there's some really, really delightful moments. We threw a party for Bob Darden for his 500th episode for Shout. Gathered the community together. He did a live reading, played the music, talked about where this recording that he did for his 500th episode was the catalyst for the entire concept. And I had 50 people in the room at the Black Gospel Archive, and everybody just listening and nodding and putting their head and their feet to the music and listening to him, and tears with this story as he just unfolded this tale about this music and how it impacted him and what led to all of it. And that was when we had charcuterie as far as the eye could see, and just celebrated that moment with him and his wife Mary and the people that had the idea of bringing this to fruition in the first place, the people behind the scenes that were a part of making sure that it happened. And we did it right there inside of the archive, where everybody could go and they could see the records and they could touch them, and they could go and see the equipment that the archives is using to do all this work. And I wish we could do 1,000 more events like that, where we just get to deep dive on the passions in this community and the people who just love what they do. And it comes from a place that's just so deep inside of them that they can take you on that journey right to the center of themselves. And then you get to live that with them. And that was just, I mean,
it's awesome.
I haven't gotten to do a lot in 4 months. I've been doing a lot, but I hadn't had a lot of great stories I've gotten to set myself up for quite yet, but that's going to sit with me for a long time.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. It's every once in a while you get in this community. That's why we live here. That's why I left football and opened a business, because it's every once in a while you're kind of like, they really don't like outsiders here. And then every once in a while you're like, this is why we're raising our kids here, because of, moments like that and the people that make those moments. And you mentioned earlier, right? This is a small community. It's growing. We're about 325,000 people now in our metro,
That's great.
and that's nothing to write, or that's like
You can
that's
write home
fairly
about
well
that.
sized. We
Yeah.
have an airport with direct flights on American and all that, and we have everything you need here. And I've lived in a lot of big cities. This community has more people like the people that I've experienced growing up in New York State or New York City, on Boston, et cetera, where, there's just a kindness toward people and what you're doing. And people don't really care what you do. They care how you treat other people. And I think that's also a pretty good lesson in business and leadership, because most businesses that don't treat people right usually don't succeed. It might in the short run, but in the long run, it usually ends ugly.
It's true.
And it's hard to do that when you're not in a community where people aren't focused on that. And that was literally just a rant that I didn't plan, but your story basically brought that into my head. And that's important for people to know too, I think, because you're associated with Baylor, but you touch way more than that little university bubble in this community.
No, that's true. We are affiliated with Baylor. It's originally a university radio station, and they made that transition in, I think, the year 2000, out of the radio station model. University license was suspended and a community license was issued, so that we were officially a community radio station. But still, very much, we're very connected to Baylor as an affiliate of Baylor. But I mean, I'm from Houston. I understand what you're saying. When we moved here 15 years ago. We came here so that my husband could do his graduate work at the seminary at Baylor. And we were shocked. We were this tiny little town. This was back before Magnolia was a thing. Chip and Joe hadn't done their thing yet. We used to say that Baylor football got good when we got here. So
they got really good
because we started taking our kids, and that was like RG3, that those years. Yeah, when we moved here, our youngest son was 2 years old. We moved from Houston, and it was astounding how quickly you can fall in love with Waco, and how kind and how giving, how generous, but then also how easy the pace is here. Such light years difference from I mean. I did grow up listening to public radio while driving in my car, an hour commuting every single day so I could go to my job in Houston, and listen to public radio the whole entire time. But, it's such a different pace. And when my husband finished his master's studies, he was looking for a church to pastor, and we were interviewing with First Baptist Annapolis in just outside of Washington D.C. And we were all the way to the point to where I was starting to look at real estate and trying to decide how in the world we were going to afford living in Washington D.C. after we had just given up everything so that my husband could go and do this degree. And I worked for a nonprofit. We didn't make any money. So, and even then it was very tiny nonprofit at the time. We were looking at real estate in Annapolis, and he was offered a position at Truett Seminary. I think the same day of his graduation, the dean mentioned a position to him that needed to be filled at the seminary. And he was like, do you think we should do this? And I was like, I don't know. You said you wanted to be a pastor. And he was like, but I'd be a pastor to pastors. And
that's the best kind of pastor.
Holy cow, is like, the most perfect job in the world for him. He loves it. He's been there 11 years. And so he runs the online certificate program. So it's their non-accredited studies program for anybody who wants to have a seminary level of education without having to go get a master's degree. And he absolutely adores it. He loves what he does. But we never would have dreamed that we were going to land in Waco permanently. When we left Houston, we thought this is a 3-hour tour and that's it. And we really thought we were going to be either going back to Houston or going on to different places. We didn't think Waco was our permanent spot. But it has been delightful to raise our children here, to be a part of this community. And then for me to be able to do the work that I've been able to do in the community has been really tremendous. I mean, I have loved being so deeply entrenched in what's happening here. That is just the passion that I have for seeing our community thrive it's very near and dear to my heart.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can't gloss over the fact that there was a Gilligan's Island
I know. I was going to say,
I'm just trying to lay down
favorite
as
character?
much like 90s
Who's your
culture,
favorite character
80s
there?
and 90s
Like,
culture as I
wow.
possibly can.
It was
here.
such a serious point, but we threw a 3-hour tour in there. I love it.
It's a 4-year
I
tour,
love it.
3 hours.
So
3-hour tour. I love
before
it.
we go, I'm going to cut Jay off because it's time. It's time to go. We'll be back on the porch another time.
Well,
But where?
maybe she wants to interview me. I mean,
Where?
I do.
You know,
I do.
well,
I do.
we can always come back.
I do. I want to be back. I want to be invited back to the porch, but I would like rocking chairs next time. Oh, if he had hair, he would flip it.
For those of you listening, Jay pretended to flip his pretend wig. Where can people go to give to KWBU?
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm going to encourage people to become listeners. You know, if you have never given 103.3 a shot, I want to encourage you to listen. If of course we have classical music, we have jazz, we have all sorts of wonderful art music. But then we have incredible shows full of storytelling, full of community-wide events. And then, of course, we are your local NPR station for National Public Radio. And then we also deliver American Public Radio, just all sorts of public radio programming. So if you've never given us a try, I would really encourage you to give us a listen. You can download our app and listen. You can stream it on Alexa, whatever the case may be. However you want to listen. If you want to, just turn the little dial in your car, if your dial turns or if your buttons move, I would encourage you just to listen and to give us a try. If you have been a listener for a long time and you've never supported the station, now is the absolute best time to do that. We will still need as much support as we can get over the next few years as we continue to not receive federal funding and as the community grapples with the cost of living and everything else. We're going to need every bit of support that we possibly can. So if you do listen, consider it a product that you consume and maybe think about, $1 a day for flicking on your radio to listen to NPR or to your music. There's no paywall and we want to keep it that way. And we really want to be able to deliver this service to the community for a long, long, long time, just like we have. So they can go to kwbu.org and click the donate button, or you can go on our app, download our KWBU app on any app store and click the donate button. And $30 a month is a great place to start.
Awesome.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Lydia Tate, thank you. Jay.
KWBU 103.3.
kwbu.org.
I got nothing else. I can't
Love
say.
you,
Thank
Rowan.
both.
Love you, Reese.
Thank you both so much.
Thanks
really
for having us
appreciate
seat
it.
on the front
No,
porch.
thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Well, we will see you next time. Jay, say your goodbyes
I already said it. You missed it.
to your grandkids.
Yep.
Oh, all right.
Love you, Rowan. Love you, Reese.
There
They
we
get-
go.
They
Aw.
get double.
All right.
Awesome.
Take care. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us on the front porch. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to follow, share, and leave a review so more people can join the conversation. Until next time, keep showing up, keep leading strong, and we'll see you back on the porch soon.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.